What's going on, everyone? It is the Derf, and in today's video, I'm bringing the dynamic duo of Stasis and Arc together with our Getaway artist build and adding in, for extra effect, double special weapons. That's right, I'm going to show you guys how to not run out of ammo while also wrecking the battlefield with pretty much the amount of chaos you see on the screen and more. If you've been looking for a way to incorporate double special ammo weapons into your favorite buddy build, this is the build for you. Get your super in 30 seconds, get Transcendence in 30 seconds, get your arc grenade back every 15 seconds or less, and oh, by the way, never ever die. That's right, you're going to be near invincible with this build. So if you do find anything helpful in this video, please hit that like and subscribe button. Share it with the Guardian in need. My goal is to help as many people as possible. Check out the dim link in the video description, and if you guys are looking for that non-toxic gaming community, hop into my Discord server. All right, everyone, let's get it going. Double special weapon running Getaway artist build for our Prismatic Warlock. Our super of choice is going to be Storm Trance. Abilities: Phoenix Dive, Burst Glide. I prefer the Arcane Needle, even though this is supposed to be mainly Arc. So I guess technically you can switch to Chain Lightning if you really want, but it's kind of pointless. Arcane Needle is still the best in the biz. And for this build, you are absolutely going to need Storm Grenade. For aspects, we're going to roll out with Bleak Watcher. Press and hold to convert your grenade into a stasis turret that fires slowing projectiles at nearby targets. This will help you stun overload champs and also condense the nonsense on the battlefield when it is a busy activity. And since you are consuming your grenade all the same, when you consume your arc grenade for your sentient soul, you get a free Bleak Watcher turret, so it's kind of goofy not to put this on. Next up is going to be Feed the Void. Defeat a target with any ability to activate Devour. Your Devour effects are improved, restoring additional health and grenade energy. Remember, final blows restore health, grant grenade energy, and extend Devour. Now, I have messed around with using Feed the Void, not using Feed the Void, and Feed the Void, you really do need this for this build, especially if you're running double special ammo weapons, because if there's one thing that you don't want to have to worry about when you're already worrying about ammo economy and those things, it is your health. For Fragments, first up is Facet of Purpose. Picking up an Orb of Power is going to grant us Bolt Charge. You will have constant Bolt Charge, coming back to you between the elemental pickups. And, oh, by the way, once you get max stacks of Bolt Charge, you'll be seeing the lightning strikes all over the battlefield. Next up is going to be Facet of Courage. Your Arc, Solar, and Void abilities deal increased damage to targets afflicted with darkness debuffs. Yes, that means if they are slowed in any way, then your sentient soul will deal additional damage. So put this one on, because even at bosses, that's going to be a really good thing to have. Next up is Facet Awakening. Rapidly defeating targets with light or darkness damage or super final blows generates an elemental pickup of the matching damage type. So with this build, we are going to generate Ionic Traces, which are going to give us ability energy. We're also going to be able to generate stasis shards on occasion, and of course, tangles. Last but not least is going to be Facet of Dominance. Your Void Grenades weaken targets, and your Arc Grenades jolt targets. That means every time your sentient soul hits a target, it will jolt them. So you'll be jolting virtually everything on the battlefield on top of the weapons that we're going to use. For stat distribution, I recommend speccing into Grenade, Weapons, and Super in that order. Your grenades being at 150 is probably going to be a pretty noticeable change from having your grenades at 100. So everyone out there who might be watching this video thinking, well, if I could get this build to, 3 or 4 100s, this build's going to be pretty dope. No, this build's actually more dope the higher you go on your grenade stat. To put that in perspective and have that be its own thing, you also want your weapons to be a sizable lead above 100. Again, putting your weapons at 100 is not going to really do anything for you, because the idea behind having your weapons over 100 is to generate large ammo bricks. So the higher the number over 100, the larger the chance that you can generate ammo bricks. And that is going to be kind of a necessary thing when you're dealing with double special ammo weapons. Coincidentally, because we are dealing with a roaming super, you don't really have to have your super that high. I would argue that you could even have your super as low as a 50, and this will still work. In a perfect setup, the way that I would have this is I would have grenade be my highest stat, then weapons, and then super. If I could somehow magically get it so that super was at an even 100 or maybe 101, that would make this build pretty awesome. That means my grenade would be closer to 200 and my weapons would be somewhere in the 125 to 150 range as well. For weapons, the clear choice here is going to be Mint Retrograde. Make sure when you put Mint Retrograde on, if you don't have Envious in the third column, you need to absolutely put on Abundant Ammo so that you can generate as much ammo generation, I think I said that right, back as possible. So every time you get a kill with Mint Retrograde, you get a little bit of extra bump to your ammo regen. In the energy slot, go ahead and put on any of these three options right here, Unfall, Delicate Tomb, or Cold Heart. In the video that you saw leading into the build, I was running triple legendaries. I was not running with an exotic, but the exotic is pretty much up to you. Whatever you decide you want to do will probably fit the build just fine. If you didn't know, Delicate Tomb has an ammo generation of 55. And Cold Heart has an ammo generation of 60. These are one of the few exotic weapons that actually have high ammo generation capabilities. Unfall, to put it in perspective, generates ammo up to 49. In the heavy slot, again, I was running with triple legendaries, but you can run with Boomslang, the Queensbreaker, Opaque Hourglass, or yes, even Microcosm. Microcosm probably doesn't fit the bill here as well as these other three, simply because you want to be able to generate elemental pickups more on a Prismatic class. You're not going to be able to do that as you would for like an OG Arc build. So Microcosm probably would be like, if you have problems hitting the boss or the broadside of a barn, put on Microcosm for a Prismatic Warlock build. So Getaway Artists, Dynamic Duo. Convert your Arc Grenade into an Arc Soul and become amplified. The Arc Soul functions as an autonomous turret. I've said it before and I will say it again. The best thing to happen to Warlocks all year is converting turrets to scale directly with your grenade stat. I also think that changing the stats up to health, melee, grenade, superclass, and weapons was a pretty significant thing, but that wasn't just specific to the class, that was game-wide. Specific to the Warlock class, scaling your turrets to your grenade stat really makes you think about how you're doing what you're doing, because, again, these are just the turrets, but your grenades in general are, overpowered when you get up to 150 and beyond. I mean, really 150 and beyond. So as you're building this build and you're deciding what weapons to use, just remember, don't forget to pop your Sentient Soul. Even if it's already popped, if you know you're not running out of enemies anytime soon, just refresh it. I'm telling you, your refresh rate on your Sentient Soul is going to be insane with this build. For the rest of the armor, go ahead and spec into whatever general armor mod that you need. For the helmet, you absolutely can run double special. Unlike other turret builds where I put on a Ashes to Assets, you don't need to do that because you're rolling with a roaming super. To round it out, make sure you put on a Harmonic Siphon. For the gauntlets, go ahead and put on triple firepower so that every time you get a kill with your Sentient Soul, or I guess technically your Bleak Watcher turret, you will get an Orb of Power. For the chest armor, go ahead and put on 2 elemental resistance mods and 1 harmonic ammo generation mod. For the legs, go ahead and put on double absolution, as you're really not going to need any other help getting your abilities back. Round it out with a harmonic scavenger. For the class item, go ahead and put on your class font, Reaper, and Bomber. You could put on Special Finisher here, but it's really not necessary because you're not really going to have to get into the face of enemies that often unless you're proccing your super. For the artifact, make sure you have on Anti-Barrier and Pulse. Make sure you put on Unstoppable Sidearm and Hand Cannon. In the second column, make sure you have on Threadling Proliferation. In the third column, make sure you have Pack Tactics, Refresh Threads, and Reciprocal Draw. In the fourth column, make sure you have on Elemental Coalescence and Energy Acceleration, since both your Sidearm and your Mint Retrograde count as micro missiles. In the final column, Shield Crush and Elemental Overdrive. Since you're going to be constantly amplified, you're going to deal increased damage with your Sentient Soul and your Bleak Watcher turret, and you will also get your grenade back even faster, thanks to Shield Crush. An elemental overdrive makes sense because we are maining an arc weapon, so a special ammo weapon theoretically does more damage than any primary ammo weapon, so being able to increase the damage on top of that is going to be ridiculous, all things considered. To put yourself further above the learning curve, spec into Last Discipline Armor. At 4 pieces, picking up an Orb of Power grants you 6% special ammo progress. So, if you're doing the math, 10 Orbs of Power, 60% ammo generation, you haven't gotten a single kill yet. Well, I guess technically you have. But with your Sentient Soul, you're not going to have to get those kills necessarily with your weapons. Which means that plus your weapons plus, your super or whatever, generating Orbs of Power, yeah, it's going to be a good time for you generating special ammo. And as you saw in the intro video, I was pretty much maxed on special ammo the entire time. So that is my quick rundown of running double special ammo with your Getaway Artist in a Prismatic Warlock setup. Let me know in the comments what you guys would change. Let me know if there are different fragments you would use. Let me know if you would also keep on Feed the Void, or if you would switch that out for maybe Lightning Surge, for example. Again, it really depends on the playstyle, because I think Feed the Void is important, but I also think that if you did want to spec into some of these other weapons over here, you could make a case that Feed the Void may not necessarily be needed because you're going to be putting out so much power anyways. Look, Mint Retrograde is still a king in terms of its damage output, but again, I'm running with triple legendaries here, which means in any one of these slots, I could slap on an exotic and do some ridiculous damage. So I think it's important to, have these discussions where we kind of take this build, as good of a build as it is just with Getaway Artist by itself, pairing it with Last Discipline Armor, pairing that with the artifacts, some of the mods on there, and then rolling it through with a stasis turret, and then of course the fragments that we have selected. I think there's room to change it up a bit depending on how difficult that you want. Again, I was running in Grandmaster when I created this build. So you're not exactly seeing it at the top of the difficulty chain, but it's pretty darn close, and the average player is probably somewhere at or around, or maybe slightly below, or maybe slightly above where I'm at. Again, I don't play, endless hours of the day. I wish I could, but I just can't. So being at 459, I think is okay for me personally. Between doing all the build videos that take away from me actually doing activities and farming armor and things like that, it's kind of a balance. But for those who play very casually, you might only be approaching 400. You may only be approaching 350. This build's still going to work at virtually any activity. And it's one of those builds, even with special ammo, you have ways that you can generate it back. So theoretically, once you get used to the play style, it can theoretically only get better. And what I mean by that is, let's just say you're rolling with a tier 3 or a tier 4 in all of your slots. I'm lucky that I've got tier 5s in anything, because you see my armor, I've got 3 tier 4s. So I guess what I'm saying is that if you're looking at this build video and you're like, geez, Durf, I only have tier 3, and that's kind of a stretch, I got lucky, that's fine. This build can still work for you, and also factor in, the fact that you're not power deltaed, or you're not going up against a power delta. So when you change things up as you progress in your power and you reach higher and higher levels, once you get to ultimate, I'm going to be very interested to see how this build functions in ultimate. And again, it's only another -5 in power delta, so it's not like it's going to be that much different. And again, I'm going to be putting out more power because I'm at 500 and all those things. So anyways, enough yammering. Let me know in the comments how you guys would change it up and how it's working for you. So if you did find anything helpful in this video, please consider liking and subscribing. If you know a Guardian out there who is looking for a way to run double special with their Getaway Artist in a Prismatic Warlock setting, feel free to share this video with them or send them my way. My goal is to help as many people as possible. As always, I will have a dim link in the video description, and if by chance you are looking for a non-toxic gaming community, I highly recommend hopping in my Discord. It is very busy in there. There's a lot of people talking, a lot of people doing things, pairing up, doing things like raids and dungeons, and of course conquest. That's a popular topic. So if you're looking for that non-toxic gaming community, I highly, like I said, recommend my Discord. And big shout out to everyone in my Discord. You guys are the reason I'm able to recommend it in virtually every video. So I'm going to switch over to some other video highlights, and then we are going to wrap it up. So not that you needed any extra incentive to put Getaway Artists on your Warlock and go to town and have a ton of fun, but with double special ammo weapons, this build feels almost illegal. Again, you can handle all 3 champs with this build. Your ammo economy, even though it is double special, I don't really see it being a problem for most people. Now, you do have to be somewhat conscious, but even in a slower activity, you still have a lot of your abilities to help carry you. Plus, you have Feed the Void equipped, so you're not going to be lacking in health. And then, oh, by the way, if that wasn't enough, the weapons that we have selected are some of the most potent in the game. And again, in this gameplay right here, I'm not even using an exotic weapon, so factor that in. And then what do you get? You get something that's just, I mean, unbelievably strong. But for those of you that are 500 and over, go ahead and let me know in the comments how this build works when you get to the next level of content. Again, I'll be hitting 500 hopefully soon, and there's certainly Guardians out there that are probably going to be wondering, you know, well, how does this fare once I do get to 500? Am I ever going to use this build? What about special ammo? Is it going to be worse to try to use a double special ammo build? Look, it's a niche style of play. I get that. But with a little bit of sense and a little bit of just, you know, careful what you're doing and being aware of what you're doing, the ammo economy on this is really not that ridiculous. Again, you can get a Mint Retrograde that's got Envious on it, and then you really are cooking because that has insane ammo regen just by itself. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. Let me know in the comments what's working for you, any changes you would make, so on and so forth. If I did sound a little nasally in this video, it's because I have been battling a cold. I do apologize, but I've been having a ton of fun with this build, and I know if I'm having fun with the build, someone out there is going to have fun with this same build. So thanks, guys, as always, for your support. Make sure you like and subscribe. Check out the dim link in the description, and hop into my Discord if you're looking for other Guardians to game with. I will see you guys next time. Thanks, as always. Take care.